Hello everyone, welcome to the Title I Updates meeting. Schools that have been operating a Title I program since a few years know most of this information, but I cannot urge you enough to please stay focused and try to uh, follow the presentation today. It covers some new information, some new requirements, not many new requirements, but we just updated the way we do things. So I, we had 10 Title I schools last year. We went through a district Title I audit, and as we worked so hard last year, as you can remember, the district auditors found that there were three things we were on improvement for 2012 and 13 school year, the district auditors. And because of all our hard work, mine and yours, we all did it, and we had no findings at the district audit this year. The finance worked with us, Ms. Robinson and Sierra worked with us, so yeah, it all worked out well, and we did not have any findings this year. It is a challenge in our district the way we do things, because as in a traditional public school, you can go to the finance person and they can pull in all the teachers, all the paraprofessionals. We don't have this luxury. We are thinking of to do something different next year. Not sure what it is. We are thinking. We're talking to other similar school district like ours, and to see how they are doing it. So, and if you have any ideas, please feel to share with us. This is a very important meeting, I should say. It talks about the state Title I audit. It talks about many the fiscal audit the district does each year. I think we have grew stronger each year doing that. We look so good in front of the district auditors when they look at our federal program, because Title I is the biggest federal program of the district. We just have to make sure we keep doing the same thing and try to add more compliance items to it just to be stronger. So we'll go with the presentation, and if you have any questions, just shoot me an email or call me, and we'll set up a conference call if you have a couple of questions, and we'll go over it. So, yeah. Like I said, lunch forms, I cannot stress enough how important lunch forms are, especially I don't want to go into detail, but as most of you know, one of our charter school which was revoked was in the federal court in the past few weeks. One big item that we want to focus, and I think the state will be more focused while auditing, is they will look at the lunch forms. They are very, they sat in the hearing, they took notes, and I think this is one thing they will be focused on, is looking at the school lunch forms. And with our school district, it's unique because we have virtual schools and we have brick and mortar schools who don't provide lunch, but we still collect lunch forms. I know it is challenge for some of you to collect lunch forms, but I can't stress it enough. Please collect lunch forms, and most of us do. I mean, we started doing this lunch and district operations audit, and this is the third year we did the audit, and I can say in the 3 years I can see the difference, how nice it has become, how good the schools have got into and collecting the lunch forms and making sure they're done. But one of the biggest issues this year, and the only biggest issue I said, most schools, and I emailed you all individually, is your lunch forms are incomplete. The parent completed the data, but it is the school's responsibility to verify that information. So you're half right, half wrong, but you still have to have a completed lunch form. Like I said, the state will be very serious about it. We went to, I went to the Title I meeting at the State Department, and they had a page on how they are changing things based on the recent court hearing, and how they are trying to put more items into their compliance checklist to monitor, to catch the fraud before it escalates. So please, I cannot stress enough, lunch forms are the basic of our poverty counts. So make sure you give it to the parents, and if they don't give it to you, they are paid. But if you put free and reduced on that form, make sure you have a form for every child in the student folder. And when asked, it should not take 2 or 3 weeks for you to provide me this information. This should be information that is very handy and should be given in a day or 2 or 3 the max. But some schools took 2 or 3 weeks, and it just, the compliance piece is how authentic is the data that you're giving me. So if it is a pattern, that's where we step in and say, let's look at all the school data. So just to be fair, please, when we ask for information, 2 days, 3 days, and if you're late, just if you're somewhere out of the town or something happened at your school, shoot us an email and just let us know that this is the reason we could not submit the form. But it should not be a pattern where each year you take 2 or 3 weeks or 4 weeks and multiple reminders to submit lunch forms. So I am requesting you all to, when you do lunch forms, collect them and complete the information and verify the information. The biggest thing I'm asking schools to do is verify that information. And what I mean to verify is when you collect the lunch forms, I know for online schools, I have asked schools in the past to provide me their access to log into their system and see how they are collecting the lunch information. If you could see in a lunch form, you can complete this can be your verification section. This is where you verify the information that the parent has submitted. I have circled it in red. If that is completed, I'm good. I'm happy that at least you took time to verify that information. And randomly you can ask, if you have a SNAP card, give me your SNAP number. So 1 or 2, 3 forms per school year will just be more accountability. It will be good for the district. And online schools, they don't have this verification on the online system, but I'm hoping that all virtual schools have a system in place that someone is going back and verifying them. So that is good. One more thing in the lunch forms, we have, if the parent puts a SNAP data information and the entire information, the lunch form is blank, I'm just assuming you're putting as a free or reduced. Sometimes kindly go ahead and ensure that that information is correct. 1 or 2 forms at least for the entire school, just to make sure that you're getting you have proper checks in place. It will help the district. It will just make us strong. So kindly take time with your lunch form, because that is the only way we are looking at poverty at this point. District of residence, most schools are doing well. Our power school, hats off to the power school coordinators who take time. I know how tedious it is, but over the 3 years I have seen that schools are doing a very good job of documenting where the kids are coming from. As I said in my earlier PowerPoints or meetings, the state pulls the Title I funds from the district of residence of those children. So it's a very important coding system in PowerSchool. So when you put that information in the system, make sure that you have some kind of documentation, and it has to be collected each year. You don't have to collect for all 3,000 kids, but if you send out an email asking the parent, hey, if you moved from this place, this is the time you submit your new district of residence documentation. And the proof of address requirements is on the bookshelf, and most of you have it already. Just want to let you know, continue doing what you're doing and just have more checks and balances in place to make sure your data in PowerSchool is correct. And some items I'll talk about which will be, these are basics, and like I said, day one we have this information on the bookshelf. All the timeline is on the bookshelf, but I'll just go over it just to make sure, because we are going through a state audit. If you have your paperwork with you, I just want you all to double check you have everything. So I'll go over some basic program items here, the few program items which are very crucial for your Title I state visit. And later I'll talk about what are we doing for the state visit and what are we doing for the Title I physical audit, a fiscal audit that we do each year. The planning meeting, as I said, nothing is more important in the title, according to at least in my book, nothing is more important than a planning meeting. This will design the program for the kids. This is essential. Nothing more is important than a planning meeting for me. If you have a good planning meeting, you have your parents in it, you have your community members in it, and you talk about all the information that pertains to why are you making the decisions, why are you, spending so much money on an after school, why it is important to hire an interventionist, your minutes for that meeting, your agenda for the meeting. This is a very crucial document. And once I go through, if you haven't already, I shared with the monitoring checklist from the state last week. If you look at those items, you will be amazed to see how many times the planning meetings comes in each checklist. Multiple times throughout those multiple checklists, you will see planning meeting over and over and over. And I have been emphasizing this over and over. Planning meeting is so important. We did, in the past, we used to do multiple amendments. We went through only one amendment each year. We had a couple, and I know I really understand where you're coming from when you ask for so many amendments, because the funds, you did not receive the funds on time. But when I went to the state Title I audit, Title I meeting last week, they still had school districts that the plan is not approved. Not, but like I said, that district may have some general funds that can cover for it. But like I said, our new proposal that we are working on, you will receive an email shortly next week talking about what our proposal will be next year. We talked about it in the leaders meeting. We did a webinar about it. We will be implementing that next week, how we'll be collecting poverty data in two different phases, one in the 135th day count and one on the 5th day count. I sent you the PowerPoint, but you will receive a document sometime Monday, and this year the process will be very smoother. I think we are on the right place. We ran through all the errors we may come across, so most of it looks good. So I think this will be a really good year. The coming 15-16 year will be a good year for Title I. Hopefully our plans, we will have a draft plan approved very soon. So I'm really excited about it, so that you know that you are a Title I very soon, and know how much funds, at least how much funds you may get. So I'm really excited about that. But coming to the planning meeting, this sets off a good stage. This meeting tells how passionate you are about your kids. This planning meeting tells how are you planning for your kids and your teachers. Like I said, for the audit, this information is so important, how you involve parents in those meetings. So on the bookshelf, I went to the guidance, Title I guidance, federal guidance, and pulled information that you don't have to read 40 pages. I pulled out information which is very easy. It gives a checklist on what should be discussed and what are the topics needed for the planning meeting. It is available on bookshelf, and I'll show you where the information is at the end of this presentation. Annual meeting, and we have been doing it totally different, the planning meeting and the annual meeting. By law, we have to be, by federal law, we should be doing a planning meeting sometime in March and April, technically, because that's when a traditional public school will know that they are a Title I school or not. In our situation, we know sometime in September. So we work with the State Department of Education, and they have allowed us to do the planning meeting in September. But hopefully with the new proposal that we are coming, we will have a planning meeting. I'll give you more guidance on that, but we'll be having the plan for next year. I'll do one more webinar and go through it. When you look at if you are trying to Google it and trying to find information, don't get confused. We do things differently because we go with the 5th day count. But all this guidance is on the Charter School District Handbook, Title I Handbook, which is on the bookshelf. The annual meeting. So planning meeting is where you sit and talk to your parents, community members, and develop a plan for your school. Annual meeting is you do it at the beginning of the school year. You call your parents, you call your community members, you show them your Title I plan. Hey, this is a title, and you don't have to do a Title I annual meeting. You can, anytime you have a meeting in your first parent meeting, you can have annual meeting as a part of it, and you'll talk about your Title I plan, why you made those decisions. You have to, just because you made a parent involvement policy 3 years ago, you can't keep using the same, because things change, the community changes, the test scores change. So you have to amend it. You may have to. Sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you have to amend it. So you make those amendments. You let the parents know. The school parent compact, you can share it during that time. You can talk about your teacher qualifications, talk about, hey, we have 60% of the teachers that are highly qualified, we have 20% that are allowed by the charter school law. So these are the times you do that. You tell them that we have 10 paraprofessionals, 3 paraprofessionals. So this is the information you give out in the annual meeting, and all this have to be documented in minutes. And you always have to give options for parent. Hey, I have an open door policy. You can come here anytime. Or you can say every Friday you have time to come and meet the teacher. We will send a newsletter every 3 weeks. So some kind of methods where you can let the parent know that this is the way you can communicate with the school, and please make sure you document that in your minutes. Test scores, show them the test scores if you have them already. If you had did a pre-test, share data with them, show them why you are making these decisions. So this is where you do your annual meeting, and these are some agenda items. You may have more based on school to school. So you will have these meetings. Make sure you document it. Parent right to know. Title 1 says if a school has to let the parent has the right to know that certifications are the qualifications of the teacher. So it's a document. The sample is available on bookshelf. You print it, put your school name, put your letterhead on it, and send it out to the parents that they know. We let them that they have the right to know this, and they can go to the State Department to check on it, or they can call the school and you let the parent know. So use the letter that is available on the bookshelf, or if you have your own, go ahead and do it. That's parent right to know. And all samples are available on the bookshelf. So please use these forms. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, and I'll work with you on it. The principal attestation letter, the sample is also available on bookshelf. Please use that letter. It talks about your highly qualified teachers at your school, whether you meet the section 119. Work with it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I can give you more guidance on it. I don't want to give massive information to you all. So if you have questions, shoot me an email and I'll respond back to you. But the sample letter is available on the on bookshelf. Time and effort. This has been the biggest challenge for me working with Title I. Because first thing, I don't have or the district doesn't have access to the list of teachers or the paraprofessionals you have. When the list, if in the past I collected the list sometime in December, but by the time the proposal is approved, the Title I plan is approved, the entire staff changed, and I have to do this over and over and again. So this, I'm trying to work, and I'm trying to find solutions for it to make it easier. Because each year we go through a district audit. Don't forget about the state audit. We go through a district audit, district auditors, and I cannot emphasize that those 2 months I have to dedicate my time working with the district auditors, trying to provide them the information. And each time I get a document from the school, so not all schools, but each time I get a document, it's different. The names are different. It's just confusing. And sometimes it's not the school, but the teacher stayed for a month and they left and they had one more teacher. The data is not correct. But we are working on it. Hopefully we'll find a solution for next year. We are taking one situation at a time and trying to resolve it. Hopefully we'll find a good solution for next year. The time and effort. Basically, it talks about if you are paid through federal funds, your time working for working for that activity should be documented. If you are working for teaching those kids, that time has to be documented. That's time and effort. All teachers, all employees, any employee that's paid from Title I has to be documented if they're paid from federal funds. There are 3 types of documents that you can use to document the teacher's time and effort. The first one is single cost objective, and this is the most easiest way to document the time and effort for the teacher. If you have any staff that is paid 100% of their salary from Title 1, 100%, you don't use any part of general funds, you use 100% of the funds to pay the teacher. You use this document and you use it two times, from from August to December, and the second document is from Jan to end of the school year. You use it twice a year, and you're good. It has basic information that this particular teacher has worked for such federal program, Title I, working as a classroom teacher for 100% of the time. So it's a simple letter. The template is already available on Bookshelf. All you have to do is download it, put your school information on it, and you're good to go. I will tell you how to submit this information later in the PowerPoint. But time and effort, the auditors, and if you have worked with me, some schools do an amazing job, most schools do an amazing job, but some schools, we go to and fro, and when the auditors are in the office, I try to give them ahead of time. Hey, I have all this information. I want to be prepared when the auditors are in the building. So I will go in detail, and I will be following up with emails on this time and effort, and I'll go in detail with it toward the PowerPoint. I'll tell you how I collect this information, and I'll give you a lot of resources and getting this done. But like I said, the templates are available on the Bookshelf. Multiple cost objective. If I am a teacher, part of my salary is paid from Title I, and part of my salary is paid from general funds. Half day I teach English in a classroom, paid from general funds. Then I am a reading recovery teacher, paid from Title I, the remaining day, part of the day. At that time, you don't have to do it daily. This is a monthly document. You can do it daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or a monthly document. But you need this document for that teacher throughout the employment at your school. It's really simple. It just talks about, you can ask your finance person to give you how much percentage he gets from general funds, how much he gets from Title I. Put the numbers there, and the document is really simple to read, and you should be good. And this is the time and effort without a fixed schedule. And with this multiple cost objective, we need to have a schedule. When we see this time and effort, we will ask you, give us a schedule, and that schedule should say half day this person is here, the remaining part of the day he's here. So that document should speak for the teacher or the employee. The time and effort without fixed schedule. This is I'll just give my example here. Part of my salary comes from Title I, and part of my salary comes from IDEA, especially. For me, my day is not fixed. I cannot, of course, when I go to my office on my way, I'll say, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. I have a schedule in my mind, and anyone who is in the administration knows that once you go to the office, reality comes in, and you will not do a single thing what's on your mind that particular day. There's fires to put out, and so much stuff comes on your way. So you don't have a schedule. You can't come up with a schedule. But because you're paid from Title I or any federal program, you have to document how you're using your time to justify the amount of funds you receive from federal funds, Title I here. So this is the document I use, and I do it for my district auditors. I do it when the state auditors come. I document everything. Like on Monday, I worked on time and effort. Tuesday, I worked on teacher certification. This is a day-to-day. For employees who don't have a fixed schedule, who don't qualify in a single cost objective, multiple cost objective, we go with time and effort with fixed schedule. And here you have to be paid from two funds or two or three funds, and you don't have a schedule, you use this. If you are an employee, if you are a supervisor and you are paid 100% from Title I, which is very rare, paid from Title I, you just do the semi-annual, semi-annual document. But if you don't have a schedule and you are paid from multiple funding sources, you use the time and effort document without fixed schedule. HQ letters, and this is also one of the biggest challenge we have. and like I said, it is something we have to work on it. If some schools do SC virtual, for example, and a provost and I don't remember other schools, but we have schools in our district that say we are 100% HQ schools. And like I said, they choose to be 100% HQ, so that's good. But you have to meet the rule of at least 75% of your courses have to be taught by highly qualified, and the remaining 25 can be taught by charter school allowable teacher. If a core class is taught by a non-HQ teacher for more than 4 weeks, a school is required to send a HQ letter, highly qualified letter, to the parent, letting them know that, hey, your child is not taught by an HQ teacher, but that person is working on the certification, or that person took a leave, they are coming back in 3 days. Letting the parent informed. All this letter is doing is letting the parents informed. We learned in the last year during the district audit that some schools haven't sent it, and we are working towards it. So this year, and that's the reason I sent you all a teacher list to complete and send it to me last week, and I got the HQ report from the state. It's not cleaned up yet, it's raw data, but I have the list of HQ report from the state, the 45th day. So I will match both and try to say it's not cleaned up, but I'll send it to the schools anyway for you all to look who you're not. That might be an error in PowerSchool. So clean up the data, and for the teachers that are not HQ, if you haven't done already, kindly send these letters and put them in the teacher folders. This is very important. We want to look good for the district auditors. We want to look good at the state auditors. This is public relations. We really have to do good. Paraprofessionals, like I said, these three, anything that's dealing with data that the district doesn't have is one of the challenges. Like I said, paraprofessionals. We have schools that had teachers and and especially when you're in a Title I school, it sends a wrong message when you have a large amount of teachers who are not certified or who are not qualified, because you say you're a Title I school where instruction is to improve, and you're hiring people that are not qualified, and it's not for everyone, but some schools are doing it. So the point is, paraprofessionals has to work with a HQ teacher, and also they have to meet certain criteria. So whenever you're hiring a paraprofessional, try to look at this guidance and make sure you got this documentation from the paraprofessional. So who are paraprofessionals? Assisting with classroom management, instructional assistants, parental involvement activities. So these are paraprofessionals. These are considered paraprofessionals, and this is the documentation they need on their file for the district auditors, for the state auditors, or just for your school. Because you're a Title I school, you want to tell the parents and you want to tell the community that you're hiring good people, qualified people to instruct the kids. All Title I paraprofessionals must have a secondary school diploma or its recognized equivalent. And additionally, you have to meet one of these three criteria. Obtain an associate's or higher degree, complete 2 years of study at an institution of higher education, or there is a standard of quality assessment on the state website. On that link, I'll show you once I'm done with the presentation. I will show you where they can go and take the test. I'll show you in a minute. But I could urge you to start filing this information for the staff, for the paraprofessionals, because we need it for both the district auditors and the state auditors. Time and effort, like I said, I sent you a document, the teacher and paraprofessional list, to complete it. It was due March the 20th. I hope most of you have done it. I will go ahead and check it. We have a salary split for employees, just for me to, in order for me to tell the schools, like, hey, you need to fill 3 semi-annual, you need to do 3 time and effort. We will do a salary split, and this is very important when the district auditors come, especially. So we did it last year, and we had 3 findings for the 12-13 school year. Because of all, I know it's massive work, but because of that hard work, we had zero findings last year in the district audit. So we will continue to do that. This document is available on the bookshelf, and I'll show you at the end of the presentation the paraprofessional documentation. I will send the guidance is available on the bookshelf, but the due date of submitting the paraprofessional documentation, I'll work with you and give the date. And there is a reason I'm waiting on it, because the schools have done amendments. They have taken some paraprofessionals. They have added some paraprofessionals. I will look at that information and ask you, hey, you have 3 paraprofessionals. Give me the names and their documentation. I want to have it with me before the auditors are in the building. So I'll work with you on that and provide you a date. And when I say provide a due date, you need to realize this information should already been with you. You should have that already. All you should be doing is scanning it and sending it to me. And that's why I'll give you ample amount. I will not say tomorrow. I will not say next week. I will give you enough time to provide me that information. We are pretty decent with our equipment. It's very clean. Why should we notify you when when the plan is approved that we are buying equipment? That's if you read the guidance, federal guidance, it clearly talks about multiple staff has to be involved when you are doing purchases with federal funds. So that's just part of to making us look good, making sure we meet the law, that multiple people know that you are doing it. It's not just you went and bought 100 iPads and 50 are missing. It just shows that the district is aware you're buying it, where you're buying it. And it's a simple survey. Even though your activity to buy 50 iPads is approved by the state, before you buy those 50 iPads, we just want to let us know that, hey, we have an invoice, we work with the company, and this is 50 iPads we are purchasing. And in a day or so, mostly in 24 hours, we'll let you know, hey, that is fine, go ahead and purchase the equipment. And after that, we will send you an Excel spreadsheet to put in the serial numbers, and you complete it in a month and send it back to us, and we'll provide barcodes for that equipment. It's very simple. And if some are stolen, some are damaged, you use the same form to report to us that they are lost or stolen. Last year, when and now we are using UTS. We will be using UTS company, because we don't want the schools to go do this twice each year, one with us and one with the UTS. So we want to work with UTS to make sure that this process is done more smoothly, and you only have to do once. So that's the plan. Hopefully it will work out well. It worked out well this year. We'll try to add more schools and get all the federal equipment into the UTS system. So we all have one single document, and we all are looking at one single document. This is the reporting form. It's a simple form. How much money you are spending on it? Where will the equipment be? And what are you planning to purchase? Simple information. If you have any, if you invoice, just attach the file to here. And this is the Excel spreadsheet. Something similar we'll send. So you get a barcode. So we can have a barcode number. Either UTS provides it, however, but we will have some documentation, and we will know where the equipment is. Then the disposal form, it's the same form. It's a link on bookshelf. You click it and you inform us that you lost or broken. And last year, it was so embarrassing when I went to visit a school and did a inventory. We noticed that some 20 laptops were missing, and the school is not aware of it. That's where the process needs to improve. The school should be aware that they lost 20 laptops. And then I had to work with the school, and it's not a got you, or anytime we do is not a got you, unless it's a clear fraud. If it is human errors, we like to work with you, we like to provide support, we like to provide guidance, and most of you schools have seen that working with you throughout the years. It's never a got you situation. It's mostly human errors, mostly lack of understanding or miscommunication, but we try to clear it and work with you to make sure we get a clear process. The comparability, I don't know, we did this 2 years ago, talking about a huge spreadsheet asking you to put all the teacher information of the entire staff, and I spent 1 month running this report and everything. But thanks to the finance and Mr. Reichert and the State Department working with us, they allowed us to use a simple formula that the finance works on it, and they give us a comparability report. It's required by the federal law. We are meeting the law. We passed it last year. We are good on that. So I think we are in good shape with the comparability. So this technically it should come from the schools, all schools, but because of what innovative idea we had, the district is taking care of it. So it's working out well for us and the schools. We really don't want to give any additional work. We try to see what we can do at the office before we give to you. But most of our situation, you have the information because you are the soldiers out there who are doing it. Like parent meetings, we cannot provide that information. It has to come from you. The carryover. If you're a Title I school and if you say you have kids with poverty that are coming to you, kids from low-income families coming to you, I don't think I should ever request the state that we were not able to spend $200,000. We have for funds remaining. We want you to a carryover request. If you don't spend the money, I have to send a request to the state that hey, we were not able to spend the fund. Could you make sure that this stays with us for the next year? As a Title I school, the school as a district, I don't want to do. I will do it if it's needed, but I want schools to go ahead and spend the money, because if an AB school did not spend $20,000, once it comes to the district part, it's not going back to them next year. They will get Title I money, but that $20,000 will be distributed across all schools. So I just say protect your money, save your money, spend the money. If you want to do an amendment, if that's what needed, if need calls for it, like I said, everything should come from need. We'll go ahead and do a carryover. We'll do an amendment, but please plan efficiently and make sure you spend these funds. Travel per diem rates. When I look at some schools who travel, and I could like to see more teacher travel. We see a lot of admin travel. Years and of course it's a school decision. I like to see teacher travel to conferences. But what technically what it says is, when you're using federal funds, if you're going to, and tell me if you're going to a conference which is some related to Title I, and if the per diem says you can, if you're using federal funds to pay for the conference and pay for the hotel, there's a per diem rate. Suppose you're going to the beach next month on the 20th. You have to go to the website and see what is the per diem rate on the 20th next month. If the hotel room is $150, and if your per diem says $120, by law you only can pay $120 using federal funds. The remaining $30 you can use your general funds. But don't call me if you have those problems, and if you have 10 teachers going there, give me a call, and I will work with the state to make sure we get an approval on it. And if it's a Title I workshop specifically for your needs, we will work on it, working on the per diem. But the entire goal is, but if you're going to another conferences and you're using federal funds, you have to make sure you go through this website and make sure you're using per diem rates. And when we do the fiscal audit on schools that I've done last year, when I see the binders, some schools just put travel documentation, but some schools print the per diem rate from the GSA website and attach it. It makes life easier. I gain more respect for the schools because they are doing it, and this is what we have to do. So please, when you're traveling using federal funds, make sure you go use the GSA website and see what the price is. And if you have any questions with per diem, give me a call, and I will work with the state to get any permissions if needed. Parent survey, it really helps us, and every year we started it 3 years ago, and each year we get 1,000, 1,100, 1,500 surveys, which is huge. I mean, some 1,500 surveys, and I know virtual schools carry a lot of these surveys, but that's still a good number. It's a good number that at least 1,500 parents are speaking to us, providing feedback. That's mass information. And like every year, I break it down. Once I get that information, I break it down by school and send it to each school. So the survey link is online. We have a PDF survey, we have an online survey, and we have a Spanish survey. So kindly use those surveys, send it out. And if you have your own school survey, try to just compare notes, like are you asking the right questions? Or if you think I am not asking the right question, because I took the guidance, I try to not to reinvent the wheel. I look at other districts, I look at the state, I see guidance and try to put those questions to meet the law. But if you think some questions need to be added, I would love to make those changes. So send me an email. But if you are using your own school survey, make sure you use those results for when you're making your needs assessment and making your Title I plan for next year. Use those data and document that for your planning meeting. Annual program evaluation. I always share this example. When I spoke to Ms. Ellen Ray from C. Whitmore 2 years ago, during this annual program evaluation, we had a phone call conversation, and she said it didn't work. We looked at the data, everything, but it didn't work. And if I get Title I funds next year, I will not be doing this. She was fair, and that's exact. No one is getting it. No one is. It's not a gotcha. It's just looking at, did you make good educational decisions about the children? And sometimes they fail. Sometimes we hire a person who we think is the best for the job. They leave in the middle of the year. Someone else takes the job. They are not motivated. The purpose is not achieved why you put those funds. But this is something, a self-reflection required by the law. So kindly, these are the 4 questions you have to answer. This document is available on Bookshelf. Complete this form, and there you need to attach some document. Why you made, put some documentation. Why you need this decision? What made you? So this is really good information. If the title coordinator changed at your schools that are operated Title I program last year, you want a report that you sent me last year, I can send you all for you to plan for next year. I have all those documents. Ask me. But the template for next year, for your planning meeting for next year, is available on Bookshelf. So go ahead and complete it. School level Title I documentation. And it's very important. Like, it is very, very important why we need to have documentation. And let me tell you, it bothers me when I send 15 schools, I need this 1-page document, and I give it 1 or 2 weeks. We have 75% of the schools that does this in 24 hours. And no one is there at the school all the time just to respond to my emails. I know you have a lot to do and bigger things to do. But 2 days, 3 days, 4 weeks, and 5 reminders is like, it's not healthy for the school, especially when you're dealing with federal funds. Sometimes when we get documents, the date is the same date that I requested. So these are some red flags. And sometimes I know it's human error. Sometimes you have the documents, you don't find them, but call us and let us know. You have to have a process in place that each year you document these files at a safe location, at least for 3 years. In the recent court hearing with one of our schools, that was one of the biggest issue. I don't know how many of reading the newspaper, but the school said they lost that documentation, and that was a nail in the coffin. So please, I cannot stress enough that save it. And we saved all the documentation from the school, so anytime we need something, it really helps us to just go and get that information. So have a process in place that you retain that information, anything that deals with federal programs at a safe location. And let's go to our favorite topic, audits. In one way, audit shaped the district. I think I needed it as a Title I coordinator. I need it because we have done so many things different or bad, I don't know. But I think this audit will tell us how good we did. One thing I want to request everyone is we will have time, and I gave the deadlines here. Please assign someone to work on it. And to get this documentation, and I have every single guidance document. Templates are done. I don't want schools to take time to reinvent anything. If you have something better, I would love to see if you'll use it. But the templates are available. I have a question, I want you to give me a call right away when you have a question. When a school, and like I said, this year, just because our school was on the federal cover and the state is taking, when they presented, they had a 30-minute session about our school. I don't think they will treat us any different, because State Department, federal and state accountability, I could not have I could do this job without their support. They have been extremely helpful, very supportive in every decision we make, and they supported us. But when they come, I know we do things very differently than any other school district in the state. So obviously there will be more questions. If one school does not do parent involvement, has not done parent involvement letters, or fail to provide invoices of any expenses, that's a red flag. When the letter comes, it will not say that that particular school did this. It will say charter school district did not have invoices. Charter school district did not send parent notification. Then the school, of course, the district will send a letter of caution, a letter of not compliance to the school. That's a whole different issue. But I just want to, let's all take serious about it. It just helps our program. For me, audit means they come in here, they tell us, they look at how the program is. It just makes the program better. I'm always open for audits because it just makes the program better. But the audit date is 5th and 6th, May the 5th and 6th. They will not be coming to the schools yet. What they said is they want to gather. They said they will stay here for 2 days and review all files for all our 15 schools. So I want schools to, I'll go through the checklist and everything in a minute, but go through those checklists. And I couldn't do this presentation as I promised that I'll do it yesterday, Friday, but I couldn't do it because I took some time to make sure I provide you easy guidance, because we have some schools who are brand new Title I school, never been in a Title I school. So I want to support those schools because this is too much for them, maybe going through a Title I audit in their first year of operation. So I just want to be supportive to them, and I hope all the schools that have been operating a Title I program be supportive to them. So the deadline to submit me the information for the audit, because you need to, I'm one person who has to go to all 15 schools. So I need time to make sure, hey, this is missing, to send me. So the deadline to submit the documentation is April the 10th. And if you have any questions, if there are any delays, send me what you have and work with me. I'll work with you. And if 1 or 2 items are missing, we'll work with you on it. But please call me if you have any problem with the deadline. Give me a call, but I want to be prepared. One thing they went over and over at the Title I state meeting last week was, when they come, they get frustrated because the packets or the binders or crates they look into are not organized. They have to, it just makes them mad. And I have been to schools where I go to one school where they put all the information in a nicely stacked and labeled. It makes our job easy. And we go to some school, they give us a stack of papers to look into it, and it just we just have to be professional and respectful for the auditors. So I urge you to take time, and mostly because we are not doing it just now for the auditors. We have been doing this since 3 years. Our fiscal documentation, the way we do the binders, we are in good shape. I truly believe we are in good shape. But we'll be doing 2 different things which mostly are related. And I'll go over it in a minute. And for the new schools that have not been in the fiscal audit, what we do each year is ask the schools, all Title I schools, to give us a binder and have your Title I plan in the binder, and for every activity that's on the binder, all the invoices that you have, all the bills for salaries, if you paid salaries, that information, everything should be in a binder, and that has to come to the district on July 20th. And I cannot tell you, our district auditors really appreciated what we do, that we are doing it each year. I don't send you 100 emails a day that someone is asking me something, because I already gather this information. So when the auditors are here, they have that information. It just and I know that is a very busy time for you all. So so that is the fiscal audit, and I'll go in detail in my next slides. So two different audits, but both like when the state audit, before the state auditors come on the May 5th, a week before, they will ask me to send. They will say PD Math and Science on March 30th. You have an invoice of $2,000. They'll say send me a receipt of it. How did you pay? I have to send the documentation. So I request you to, if you haven't already, start putting them in folders and binders together. All the invoices by activity, put them in the binders. So for the state Title I audit, I'm sure for each school they will pick one or two item and say, give me the invoice or salary statement or the equipment invoice. So anything. So these two come hand in hand. They're working on both will just make our audits look good. But the final date for fiscal audit is July 20th, because you will have until May 30th to spend the money. So I cannot ask you to submit that earlier, because I want you all to spend the money, get all the invoices and everything organized. But for the Title I audit, this is April 10th is the deadline. But however, whatever you have spent during that time, I'm sure the state Title I auditors will do a desk audit before they come on the May 5th. During the desk audit, they will ask each school to, they will give us a date of purchase and amount, and we have to provide the documentation for it. So if I was you, I will, if I haven't done already, I will do it together parallel, get my Title I audit documentation done and the fiscal audit documentation done. And remember, you are not doing anything new for the state Title I audit. If you look at the checklist, everything that we have talked about in the previous slides, the parent involvement, parent compact, that documentation should have been done in September or October. So it's just making copies and just organizing it. It's nothing new. If you have done a good planning meeting, half of your checklist is done. So, and if you could, I'll go and show you what I did to make your job easy. I hope it does. You will see that the templates are already available. If one or two items are missing, the templates are already available. And if you haven't sent a principal attestation letter, send it now, put today's date, and if it's a finding, at least we corrected it. We found it, we corrected it. So I'm fine with that. But we are not doing anything new. My point is, these are some things we have done, but the time is it's a testing time. We are all swamped with work. Someone has to take time to organize it. I hope that this 20 days will be enough. But give me a call anytime you have a deadline or something. Please give me a call and I'll work with you. And it looks much better on the bookshelf. The first link is the link to, and I'll send this PowerPoint to you. The first link is we created a link for the Title I audit on the bookshelf. It has all the documents, all the resources, all the monitoring checklists. The public charter school monitoring checklist. This is a really beautiful document, because if you read, it has guidance why we are doing it, what it is, because I don't want, when I was organizing Title I package for the school, I had to research everything, I had to put everything, but for I put the guidance right there on the document and hyperlink documents for you. And some schools been doing this for a long time, they know what they are doing, but I know we have some new schools that may not have that information because we started so late, sometime in October, so they may not have some documentation with them. So that this checklist has guidance and all the documents that are required. It gives the guidance and the hyperlink to the templates. It makes your life really easy. So please, if you and this checklist, we have been using this for 3 years from now, 4 years. If you do this checklist each year, I think you will face any audit and you will be fine. So this is a really good checklist. We just improvised it. We didn't add anything new. We just added more content to it, more information, hyperlinks. So that document is not something we created just because we audit. That checklist was available day one on the bookshelf. Of course, I went and made changes. I wanted to hyperlink it because sometimes I get confused looking at multiple attachments. I want it easily accessible, so I went and hyperlinked it. So that's the only change I did this time. These are two, the budget monitoring and the district set-asides. The district will take care of it. And these 5 monitoring checklists, or some are district, some are school. And what I did, I'll show you in a minute what I did to make life easier. But these are the checklists, these 5 checklists. I want you all to, don't print it. First, I want you to spend time looking on the computer and see what I did. If this is the checklist, I went and wrote on the each page that it's a district response. So I don't want you to spend time, who should be doing this? It is right here, district, so don't worry about it. Then we have the district, and here if you could see school, then it talks about what it is referring to. And I have a guidance and a hyperlink to the document that you need to go. Once you click that guidance, it opens a document. So there itself, you have the guidance document with you instead of you looking for something and looking on bookshelf. Those are hyperlinked, the documents are there, the guidance is there, so use it. And I just try to make things easy. It took time, but I hope that those are helpful for you. And like I said, even if those links doesn't work, or that documentation, if you see planning team, that information is available on bookshelf. If you look at the charter school monitoring checklist, you will have that information. I will leave the freedom. I learned it when I 3 years ago when we did the fiscal audit. Each school was innovative. I had some examples for some schools. Some coordinators came and looked at some examples. They went back and actually it was a competition last year. Some schools competed that they should be better. It was fun to just watch how innovative they could be. So you can give me in crates, or you can give me the binders. All I'm asking is, if you're doing it, have a color coding system, some kind of system in place, please, because you're looking at 15 schools and the district and 5 or 7 checklists. Have a system in place, and you can be we are charter schools, we are innovative, so be innovative, but make sure you make my job easy and the auditors life easier when they come here, not going through somewhere they can read what they are looking at, which part of the checklist are we talking about. So just think about, print those checklists. If you want to do 3 crates for 3 different checklists, that's fine. If you want to do color coding on those, that's fine. But somewhere when they look at the monitoring checklist, they should, the process should be easy. All I'm asking is, if they open a checklist, it should be easy for them to go through your crate or binder, or how you want to give it. So print it, copy it. I don't want any mailings. I don't want any submissions. That's just too much confusion, too many emails, too many attachments. Take your time. One thing I learned through the fiscal audit is, it's just easier for because you know where they are, you know what they are. Put them in a file and give it to me, and then I can go through them. So it's the same way here. Put them in any different shape or form. Be innovative, but be clear. Don't look how it's easy for you. Just see how it's easy for a third person to understand what you're trying to say. So print those checklists and try to organize in a way, color coding, dividers, and provide that information. And on April 10th, make sure you, if it's binders, you can mail it, or if there is any meeting at the district office, come by and drop it. And some schools, like I said, this is most information, you already have it. If you already have it, if you could submit to me next week, please go ahead and do it. But allow me for 2 or 3 days, because I have been out of the office a lot lately. Allow me to actually look at your amendment plans and see how many teachers you have, how many paraprofessionals you have. 2 things that are beyond my control, or the information that I don't have access, is how many HQ teachers you have, or how many teachers you should send the HQ letters, your paraprofessionals and your teachers. So give me a week for me to just work with you by individual school to tell, hey, this is the HQ report, look at it. Or I can tell you, in your Title I plan you have 7 paraprofessionals, send me the documentation. So I will work with you on that. So don't rush that. I'll put together and send you in a week. Take your time, but anytime, if after we are clarified with the teacher certification, and paraprofessional certification. And once you speak with me that we are clear on that, you can anytime come and give the uh, so give the binder at the district office. The fiscal audit submission, which is on the July the 20th, as I said, it's required by law that we have to review it. Submit it the same way, the same instructions, put them in binders, look at them, organize, and submit it to me. And don't email anything to me. If you want to mail it, mail it. Some schools have mailed it in the past, put it in the mail. Or if you want, some schools just came and dropped it at the office. If you want to do it, I would love to for you to do it. And these are some examples. I just put it up here. How to organize it, put dividers, and highlight credit card. Sometimes you purchase a printer on your credit card, the school credit card. You put the activity, Title I activity, that we bought 2 printers, and you put a credit card statement for 3 pages. The amount of manpower to spend to look at 3 pages and figure out where the $325 is, it's just life easy if you just, because you know what you're putting. So just highlight it that on the invoice or the credit card statement where the $300 or $320 is. It's easy for the auditors. And I always use SC Virtuals binder. In the past, I have made it as an example for other schools. It has been clear. They put GSA, they travel somewhere, they have that printed out, they go to MapQuest and put the travel information. For 15 schools, sitting down and going and checking the MapQuest to make sure, of course, I do sampling. It just saves time and it's professional, and most schools are doing it. Like I said, I have no complaint, and the result is we have 0 findings in the state or in the district auditors this year. So everyone is doing a good job, but I can't put 15 folders here. And SC Virtual set up an example of how to do things. So the PowerPoint is available. You can, if you want to go ahead and look at it, go ahead and look at it anytime. They break it down into strategy 1, strategy 5, strategy 10. They print the activity, they have these dividers, and they have all the invoices that are for that strategy. So it just makes easier. I can go take the plan and just go over it. It's really quick. In 1 hour, 2 hours, I'm done with it. And if it's salary or anything, go ahead and please take time to highlight it. It just makes sense to me. It saves time, and most schools do. Like I said, most schools do. I am not finding out that only one school is doing. Most schools do. We do. But I just want to, because we have new schools, I want be patient with me. We have new schools that are doing it here for the first time if they were not a Title I earlier. So go ahead and highlight it for me. Travel expenses, put GSA red, documentation. And the one thing that's it's on the monitoring South Carolina Public Charter School District Title I monitoring checklist now. All the lunch forms, and if I don't know, it's nothing new. Before I took this job, the schools were providing the district with all their lunch forms. But instead of, I think we may end up going that way because of what happened in the past few weeks with the court hearing and stuff. But schools were submitting all their lunch forms to the district, but because I will not be looking at 1,500 lunch forms. That's why we put the audit in place instead of schools sending all the lunch forms. So we do sampling and do monitoring. So we are doing our job, but I think from next year we may be asking schools to during at one point of the year, whenever I will not give a deadline, we'll come up with a mutual deadline for this. Is submit all the lunch forms just each year, just have that data available with us at the district office. This presentation will be recorded and be posted on Bookshelf, so you can view this presentation. The purpose of doing a recorded webinar, I have great feedback, and I do respect, and I have been in a charter school. I know, and I have utmost respect for school leaders. I think you all work so hard, and I want to give, and I could prefer, and I think I could watch a webinar 100 times rather than making sure all 15 schools are at the webinar at one time and some people are not there. It's just just to keep the communication straight, I record a webinar, but as most of you know, you can always pick up the phone and call me, email me. Hope this presentation helps. If it for some it may be more confusing, so please call me. I will go through this PowerPoint with you. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. If you have questions on the checklist, highlight it and shoot me an email, and I'll try to provide explanation. I will work with you every single day, anytime. Just give me a call. I will set up a date and time, or if you are free, I'll just work with you on making sure we have a really good audit. Please take pride. I know we all take pride in what we do. I just think I was hoping that this will be a really good audit for us because of, like I said, one of our Title I school was in trouble with the court and other stuff. Just it makes us look good when we are doing what we are supposed to do, and one exception cannot change rules. So let's work on it. And like I said, we are, and schools that have been doing this for 2 or 3 years, if you know some better solution or a better way to do things, shoot me an email. I'm always open for suggestions, and I have always made sure I take the Title I coordinators, and most of you are school leaders. I have taken your opinion very seriously, and I have always used your feedback in my day-to-day work. So I really appreciate your feedback. Let me just show you these two, and of course you all have my information. This is an example of I just showed you. Everywhere you will have district, school, and once you click parent involvement policy, and you'll go here, and you'll see parent involvement policy, what are required for you to put it and why we have to do this. And then you have parent involvement policy templates, checklists, and these are hyperlinked right here. So once you open this document, you have all the information right there, why to do this, what should be covered, and the templates right here. So please use it. And this is the monitoring checklist I'm talking we just saw. Everything is right here, what you should be doing at what time of the year. This has been there on the bookshelf, but I just went and added the hyperlinks here. I thought instead of multiple places, have everything at one place. So for every document that you need, the hyperlinks are right here. Use them, and any feedback, let me know. Any questions, let me know. I will be working, the Title I amendments are already done. I will talk about it in an email. Any questions, just let me know. Hopefully we will have a really good audit. And it's not to do with the audit, it's just making sure we're doing the right thing, regardless of an audit or not. That's how we have to do it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.